Hello, I'm Julia and I knit a lot. Welcome to my channel, Julia Knits a Lot, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you have watched my previous videos, you might notice that I'm in a different spot today. I'm actually sitting in our entrance slash toy room. I had to put away all my kids' toys and they're now over there in a pile. And I also, this is where we usually hang our coats. I also took down all the coats and threw them over there in a pile. Because today I want to talk about my Westknits shawls, or Stephen West shawls. And this is actually a good spot to hang those shawls, and I thought that would be a nice background as I talk about them. I have actually took out of hibernation. I have picked up again last year's Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, the GoGo Dynamo shawl, and I'm hoping to finish that shawl before the next MKAL starts in October. So I thought that's a good opportunity to show you all of my Stephen West shawls that I have made. I know that some of my family and friends also watch my videos and they don't knit, so I want to explain very briefly what this is all about. And maybe other people, knitters, also don't know who Stephen West is or what a mystery knit along is and so on. So Stephen West is one of the most prominent knitwear designers out there. He is very prolific. He releases a lot of patterns, and he has very unusual designs. Many of them are a little bit extravagant. They are very colorful usually. He likes to experiment with different techniques, and he definitely has a very recognizable style. And what he does since 16 years now, I think, is that he, every time in October, he launches the Mystery Knit Along, or MKAL, and it's a huge thing. So thousands of knitters all around the world knit together on this pattern that he releases, and the forums on Ravelry, they go crazy. It's sometimes a bit overwhelming. And the idea behind this pattern is that you don't know what you are knitting, what it will be. You know it's a shawl. He always does a shawl, but you don't know the shape or the techniques or anything like that. So that's why it's called a mystery knit along. And this mystery aspect, I think, is quite exciting for many people. That's probably why so many people participate in the MKAL. And he and also his team, they are so good at marketing. They really know how to create a hype. So every year I kind of get sucked into it, even though every year I tell myself I won't participate this year. So I think I will share a little bit of my thoughts later on, because I have, I would say, mixed feelings about the MKAL, but I will talk about that a little bit later. So the MKAL, it works in such a way that on the beginning of October, Stephen West releases the first part of the pattern. So you get the pattern in 4 parts, which he calls clues, spread across October. And in the beginning of October, the first clue is released, then 1 week later, the second clue, and so on. And as he releases his clues, all these knitters all around the world find out what the pattern is like, and they knit on this shawl together. So I participated in last year's MKAL. It was called GoGo Dynamo. And I haven't finished mine. I finished the first 2 clues and then I put it away. I don't remember why. It's usually, maybe it was because I was starting to knit for Christmas. I'm not sure, maybe I just wanted to knit on something else. So let me show you. Okay, this is maybe not the easiest project to show, because it's all tangled up and it's quite long, but I will do my best. So here it is. It's relatively low contrast. I haven't woven in any of the ends yet. Mine is relatively low contrast, so it's maybe not that easy to show off on camera. His suggestion last year was to use 2 colors with relatively high to medium to high contrast, and I decided to go for very low contrast. So both of my yarns, my main yarn and my contrast yarn, are both in this dark red. Let me show you. So the main color, for the main color, I'm using Filcolana Arvetta, which is a standard sock yarn, 80% wool, 20% nylon, and it's a little bit thinner, I would say, than the singles yarn, for example, that he suggests in his kits. So I went down a needle size. I'm knitting with 3.25 millimeter needles, US 4, I think. So my shawl will probably be a little bit smaller than the original, but to be honest, it still feels quite big. For the contrast color, contrast yarn, I'm using Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk in the color 23. So this burgundy, dark burgundy red, and this is a 77 alpaca and 23 silk. So these two, and you can see it's a very low contrast. So my intention was to, in terms of color, using almost the same color, but in terms of texture, that's how I want to create the contrast. And I think it actually looks really, really nice to have this kind of difference in texture. I think it works out well. There's a third color here, as you can see. That's what he called the mohair there, which I think was just a very clever way to push his new mohair base. So many people added a ball of mohair to their kits that they ordered from his shop, Stephen and Penelope, and I bet they sold a lot of mohair during the last MKAL. Anyway, so for this third color, I am using, again, the Drops Alpaca Silk in the colorway 24, which is this rust. And I think, oops, it looks really nice. I really like these autumnal colors. My color preferences really change with the seasons, and in autumn, in the fall, I'm usually all about like this rich burgundy and rust and dark greens, and navy I usually wear all year round. Yeah, really dark purple. Yeah, I like those dark moody colors for the fall. So this is a little bit tangled up, but I think it's, so this is a very long, as you can see, a very long strip right now. We started off here with these semicircles, again, yarn end. With these semicircles, we created 3 semicircles, which were then joined together with these ridges, garter stripes, What I did differently, I knit garter rows here instead of reverse stockinette. He likes to do these kind of ridges of reverse stockinette, but I prefer this type of look. And then that was the first clue. And then here, that's where the second clue started. There was a row of bubbles. And the bubbles, they were a nightmare in this very fluffy, sticky brushed alpaca silk, because you knit you knit 6 rows below, I think, and then you have to unravel all the rows above. And because this is such a fluffy yarn, the strings really stuck together. And this row where I was creating these bubbles, it took me forever. And I decided I am not doing that again. So there was supposed to be a row of bubbles here and here as well, but I didn't do that, obviously. And I actually prefer the look without the bubbles, and I'm kind of thinking I wish I hadn't done them up here. I think it looks cleaner. Yeah, that's just my personal preference. And then there was this section of 2-color brioche. There was also the option to knit eyelets if you didn't want to knit brioche. I really like the look of this section. I used the Mohair color, the 3rd color, as the background color for the brioche, and I think I really like the look that it creates. This coppery color almost, and on the back it's more prominent. And then now I'm on clue 3, which is this line of triangles. This is really not easy to show off. You create these triangles, and this can be the bottom of your shawl if you want to. There's also the option to make it even bigger by picking up, I don't know, 450 stitches or however how many it is, and add a strip of like wavy ridges. But I will decide when I have done the rest. I think it might be big enough as it is. And so right now I'm at the point where I'm supposed to knit all these triangles at the bottom, and all of this is still on a cable. It's still on the needle, and you knit as you go. As you can see here, you attach these triangles to the live stitches through short rows. So you always knit back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with very short rows. And it's just, it's a little bit tedious, I have to say. It takes quite a long time. And maybe one of these triangles takes me 15 to 20 minutes, and it looks really small. But because you're constantly turning, like almost every row is a short row, it just it's really slow progress, I think. So and also it's not mindless. I really love these long rows where you can just knit one row and then you knit all the way back. And this is not mindless for me. I cannot really do this when my kids are around. Or in the morning, before my first coffee, I cannot do this. So yeah, it's not super flexible, I think, in terms of situations where I want and can knit on this. So yeah, I'm maybe a third along the way, and I still have all of this to go. Yeah, I'm not really enjoying this clue 3. I think I will enjoy clue 1 more, clue 4, which will be going back to this upper edge and picking up all the way here. I don't think I will enjoy that part, to be honest. So all this will be picked up, and then you kind of fill, and you go up, and you start doing decreases. You kind of fill the upper half of the shawl. So it will be a huge semicircular shawl by the end. Yeah, I think this will be quite big. Yeah, apart from the process, which I'm currently not enjoying that much, I think I like the look of the shawl, especially with the colors that I have chosen. It kind of reminds me of Art Deco, I think it's called. These semicircles and those lines with the copper in there, and then the triangles. Yeah, it has I don't know why, but it's kind of giving me a vintage vibe. I think I like it. So yeah, that's where I am. And I'm hoping, it's really just an arbitrary deadline that I'm giving myself, but I'm hoping to finish this before the new MKAL starts. And I usually don't really like to give myself deadlines with knitting, but I think I need to kind of push myself a little bit through these triangles. And yeah, so maybe I can talk a little bit about the next MKAL, or in general my thoughts regarding the MKAL. So as I have said before, I think Stephen West and his team, they are really, really, really good at marketing, and they really know how to sell their product. And I don't think that's a bad thing or anything like that. I just noticed that I often get sucked into it, and sometimes I want to have that. So sometimes it's a conscious decision. I am aware that I'm, kind of riding the hype train, and I'm totally fine with it. So it's okay, but sometimes I have had cases where I thought to myself, well, maybe if it wasn't Stephen West and his really enthusiastic way of presenting things, which I actually really appreciate, maybe you wouldn't have chosen this design if it wasn't the MKAL. So I had that with the twists and turns, for instance. I started the twists and turns, and I didn't really like the first clue already. It was these like chevron shapes that you then had to kind of twist. And I still pushed through, and then I think I knit the first 2 clues, and then clue 3 came out, and I thought, I'm really not liking this. And I mean, it's a personal preference thing. I mean, people like different things, and that's totally fine. And I think when you go into the MKAL, because it's a mystery, you have to be aware of that. You have to be okay with ripping out. And I think it's a question of what mindset do you want to have when you go in there. So if it's not to your taste, or if it's something different than you expected or hoped for, that's okay. I think that's the mindset to have if you want to participate in MKAL. It's about the experience, it's about the excitement, and maybe you will end up with something that you really like, and maybe you realize halfway through that it maybe wasn't what you were hoping for, and then that's okay too. So I think it's also a lot about the experience, if you're looking for that. So I don't know. I have followed the MKAL since Shawlography, so I think that's 5 years ago. I think so. 5 or 6? Yeah. So Shawlography was my first MKAL, and I have kind of followed along every year, and every year I have these little kind of mixed feelings. I really get excited, I really want to participate, and at the same time I know myself and I know that maybe I'm just not the kind of person that should do these kind of mystery things, because I have actually started shawlography. I have ordered yarn for the shawlography. I didn't buy a kit. I bought yarn from Life in the Long Grass, and I didn't like where it was going, so I ripped it all out. Then there was twists and turns, I think. This time I didn't buy yarn. I wanted to use yarn that I had because I knew that maybe it wasn't what I liked. And again, halfway through I ripped it out. And I think then there was the Geo Gradient. For that one, I actually bought a kit from La Bien-Aimée in her shop, fully aware that I might not cast on. I'm actually now usually the type of person who kind of lurks, kind of watch the first or two videos where he releases the clues, and then I decide if I cast on or not. And then there was this huge drama with the first clue. You probably remember if you were there. So I didn't cast it on, but I used the yarn for something else, which I will show later. And so I don't regret buying the yarn or anything like that. And then there was last year, I think. I hope I didn't miss any. Last year there was the GoGo Dynamo. Again, I got sucked in. I cast it on. I used yarn that I already had, and I'm kind of liking it, but I'm not. I don't know. I think it's just because I'm not really enjoying knitting these triangles. I think that's what's holding me back right now. So I am determined to finish this MKAL because it's just, I have started and frogged so many MKALs. It's just not, I don't want to do that anymore. So I want to finish this. Yeah. So what's my plan for this year? He will he will announce the kits and the yarn requirements and everything on September 4th, which is this upcoming Friday, and I think Thursday? September 4th. So yeah, I will not order a kit or anything like that because it's actually quite expensive for me to order from Stephen and Penelope, because I live in Switzerland and I have to pay extra for customs and things like that. So if I have kind of, because I have realized that I have this pattern of kind of getting excited with everybody and then kind of losing interest, I kind of have a couple of rules for myself. So I don't want to buy a kit. If I start the next MKAL, I only want to use yarn that I already have, or use at least 50% of yarn that I already have. And he sometimes gives clues to what type of shawl one might expect. So I think last year he said it's similar to Starflake. If you like the look of Starflake and the way that two colors kind of interact with each other, you might like this one. And he gives hints like that. So I have thought to myself, if he says it is similar to Vertices Unite, or if he says it's similar to Marled Magic, those are two of his patterns, I might join, because those are some of the shawls that I really like. And if I watch the first clue and the second clue and it's not really kind of what I want to knit for myself, I have decided that I want to something that I have also done quite a few times now. I will knit a different Westknits shawl and kind of enjoy the excitement that he creates, because I actually really like watching his clues. It's kind of weird. I really like watching Stephen West videos because his voice is kind of comforting to me. And he has just such a happy mood most of the times, and he's just always so excited about color and knitting that it kind of puts me in a good mood. So if I have a bad day, I sometimes watch Stephen West just to kind of get out of a slump. And I knit, of course. Sometimes if I'm like don't feel excited about knitting anymore, he is a really good inspiration for me. So I think that's what I might do. And I already have a shawl in mind, and I actually I would love to just cast it on right now. But I told myself you can't cast on another shawl until you finish this GoGo Dynamo. That's kind of a rule that I have for myself, like only one shawl whip at a time. So that's another motivation for me to finish this, because I really want to make the Jigshawl Puzzle. So it's a really big shawl. It's a huge triangular shawl where you hold two yarns to get two fingering weight or fingering lace together, and it's a very big and kind of heavy shawl, and it just looks perfect for like cuddling up in winter. He has this one this one photo on Ravelry where he's all bundled up with the shawl around his face and the hat, and it looks so cozy, and this kind of inspires me. I just want to have that. And what I like about that pattern, it's knit with, you can use scraps. It's made up of all sorts of small shapes, like triangles or other shapes, rectangles and whatever. And you can use small amounts of yarn for these different sections. I think overall he has like over 20 sections that then form a huge triangle together. So in terms of structure or composition of the design, I think it's probably similar to Vertices Unite. So it's a modular design, and I really like that because then I can just use all these small amounts of yarn that I still have. Because I actually bought a lot of yarn last month. I wanted to buy less yarn, and I bought a bit of yarn. So now I want to use some of the yarn that I have. Okay, let's put this in my project bag. This is a project bag by the Fiber Fox. I got it as part of the Fiber Fox Advent in 2023, the Golden Hour. And these project bags are hand sewn by her mother, I think. And this one I usually only use around autumn because of the colors. Okay, so now I want to talk a bit about my Stephen West shawls that I have behind me. And I have my notebook, and I have a basket of yarn. I kind of collected some of the yarn that I have used in these shawls that I still have and that I have found in my stash or around the house. And I thought maybe let's go in the order of what I've worn the least to what I wear the most. And sometimes it's not that easy to kind of rank them, but I know that I have some shawls that I definitely wear more than others. So I think the one that I have worn the least from all of these is this one. Let's show it. So this is the cabled trellis shawl. I will stand up and show you. It looks really nice on camera. It also looks nice in person. Where do I put this? So it looks really good. So why don't I wear this more? Oh, that's the wrong way. So those are my floats, just in case you were wondering. It's mosaic way of creating the design. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not wearing this right. Just feel like it doesn't really, the shape, I don't know. It looks really nice. I just never really wear it. Yeah. I don't know. It's cozy. It's kind of big. Not one of my biggest shawls. I have bigger shawls. I don't know. I have other shawls that I prefer. That's the reason. Maybe I have thought about giving this to somebody else, but I don't know if anybody would like this kind of color combination. So let's talk about this shawl a little bit. I think I will not talk about every shawl in too much detail because, yeah, I don't want to have always these long videos. It's a lot of work to edit all these long videos, but somehow I end up talking for over an hour every time. So this is the cabled trellis shawl, and this is one of those cases where I got sucked in again by Stephen West's enthusiasm. I think this was part of the Knit Along, and this was the only time I think that I bought a kit directly from his shop. So this was a kit for this shawl, and it also came with like goodies and a mug, a Knit Along mug, and things like that. And this light pink color, the main color is from his own yarn line, Westwool Tandem. It's a DK weight. And the others, these kind of fading colors, are Spin Cycle. 3 different colorways of Spin Cycle. And this shawl with this color combination is actually also featured in one of his pattern photos, but with the blue or green in the middle and the dark red as the last color. But I switched the colors around. I do like the yarn. I do like the colors. I'm not sure if maybe the shape is just not for me. So I might give this one away. If somebody from my family is interested in having this shawl. I don't know. I think it looks nice, but I just don't wear it. One thing that I remember very clearly about this yarn, about this shawl, I was a bit annoyed that I didn't have enough yarn almost. Like, I bought a kit that was sold especially for this design. And I think it shouldn't be that I have to worry about running out of yarn in the end if I buy the official kit for the shawl. But that's what's happened. So I kind of ran out of yarn toward the end. You have this edge, this picot edge, and it kind of tends to kind of flip over. And I think it's better now, but right after finishing it, it kind of flipped up all the time. And I had to shorten it because I ran out of the light pink color. And you can also see that because I had run out of yarn, I had to use a different yarn for the inside of the picot. And I actually like that detail, but I had to do that because I had run out of yarn. So this is what I did instead. But then also I nearly ran out of this yarn. So yeah, and I remember that was a little bit, I mean, it turned out fine in the end, but it was like very close. So I remember being a little bit annoyed about that. Yeah, so this is number 1. And maybe I should just hang this up again and then take down the next one. So this is the next one that I don't know if I can say that I haven't worn this as much, because I have, but I think it's mostly because I found the shape practical, but not as necessarily because I liked it the most. So this is the Mohairino Medley. It's a very long wrap, and I haven't worn it in a while. I think I haven't worn it last winter, but I have the years before. And I think it's mostly because I think the shape is kind of practical to wear with a coat. But I think I've made this 3 years ago or 4 years ago already, and I just don't really like it anymore. Yeah, sometimes tastes just change. I think that's the reason. I'm not really into these pointy edges anymore. Yeah. I don't want to be complaining, you know, I don't want to sound negative. I just think, you know, sometimes style preferences can change, or color preferences can change. So I think that's what happened here. What I actually like about this, it's you can really kind of scrunch it up. It's good to wear under a coat or a jacket, and it's really drapey. Can I show this? It's drapey. Because it's knit with fingering weight, and you change colors all the time. I think there are 5 or 6 colors in here, and there's also mohair in here, and then these huge eyelets. And the chevrons also have some small eyelets. So I think that's what creates this fluidity in the fabric, the eyelets and the mohair. So yeah, and also I'm not really a fan of wearing mohair anymore, but I think it always looks so good on camera. I'm kind of second guessing myself now. But I think it's also a little bit too busy now for my taste. As I'm planning to knit a huge multicolored triangle. Yeah. I have used for this one I bought the Stephen West or Stephen and Penelope Yarn Along subscription 1 year. I think that was, as I said, maybe 3 years ago. And I used 2 of the yarns that came in that box. I remember the pattern that you also received with the box I didn't like. You see, that's just like, that's like a recurring pattern with me. I'm a little bit picky, I guess, and I mean, that's okay. You put all this effort and time into something, so it's okay to kind of be choosy with the pattern that you knit. And I really love some of his designs, but I think I'm just not I need to see what I make before I start it. So let's go digging in the yarn basket. I know that I have some left. This very unsightly ball of yarn, I think I don't know if I lost it. This is it. So it was Dusty Dimples. I still have the label. I don't know why it's not attached to the ball. It was upside down. So Dusty Dimples. They dyed some of the yarn that year in the Yarn Along box. So that description, the way it works, you pay. It's not cheap. I mean, it's justified, I think, the price, because you get a lot of hand-dyed yarn. It's totally fine. But it's not an expense that I can make every year. And I have said this before, you get a box for 3 months in a row. And every time this box comes, shipping is expensive for me, and every time this box comes into Switzerland, I have to pay customs, and it just got so expensive. It was the added price of customs was basically the price of a 4th box of hand-dyed yarn. So I couldn't just do that anymore. And then there was this, there was the pattern that came along with it, and that's how this Yarn Along works. So in the first box was 2 skeins of the yarn by Dusty Dimples. I only have one colorway here. I don't know where the other is. It? Ah, here it is. So there was this gray one and the kind of white one, and both have these turquoise flecks in them. I've used so I didn't, again, as usual, I didn't like the surprise pattern that came along with the box, so I decided to knit a different Stephen West pattern instead. So I made the Mohairino Medley. That seems to be a strategy that I have. I've used these 2, and then I went to the local yarn shop and I bought 2 yarns from a local dyer. So I bought this turquoise yarn, which is a silk merino blend, but it's a lace. I accidentally bought the lace yarn and not the fingering weight yarn, but it's fine. And this one. And the brand is called Cuckoo Yarns. So these are all these tiny small balls that float around my stash, and I've had them for a couple of years, so I'm not sure if I still have the labels. I'm sorry. Cuckoo, like being crazy. I think that's the idea behind Cuckoo. I don't know. So, and what else? I also added a mohair by Kremke. And I think those are the 5 yarns that I added to this shawl. I thought about giving this to my daughter. I put it on her yesterday and she's just drowning in it. It's a little bit too big for her, and I also think she's a bit too small to take care of a hand knit shawl. She keeps losing her stuff in school, so I think it's a bit too soon for that. Okay, so let's look at, so now I think those are the 2 that I wear the least. Now it's getting a little bit more difficult. So I have this one here. My Fantastitch. And this I used to wear a lot. I used to wear this all the time, and it's quite special. I don't know, this sounds a little bit sentimental. It's quite special to me. I don't know. It holds a special place in my heart. But I don't wear it as much anymore because I used 2 types of mohair in there, and I just don't enjoy wearing it as much anymore as I used to, which is a little bit sad. So I think this was my very first Stephen West shawl that I knit. So I remember the first time I came across Stephen West and his MKAL was shawlography, and I, as I have said, halfway through I decided to frog my shawlography, and I used the yarn for a Fantastitch instead, and I really love the result. So these are mostly Life in the Long Grass. This is also my first time using Life in the Long Grass, and it's actually one of my favorite brands. I just really love their colors. So this, let's see, this one is agate stone. Then there's the kind of whitish. Let's see, maybe I can find, this is a better section to show it off. This is called stone. Then there's the black, it's called night. And this kind of dark purple is also Life in the Long Grass. It's called Storm, I think. So these are the Life in the Long Grass yarns that I've used. And then there's also this fluffy pink mohair. I have no idea. It's very, very, very old. I bought it maybe 12 years ago for a cardigan that I made for my mom. A very long cardigan in light pink, and I held 2 yarns together, and one of them was this light pink mohair, and I bought it like in one of our big box stores. I think it's Manor or Coop. If you're Swiss, you know. And if not, it's just one of the big stores where they also have a yarn section. And this one is Sandnes Garn Thin Silk Mohair, which I still have in stash, and I'm thinking about de-stashing because I don't really enjoy it anymore. I really like the colors of this shawl. I like how it looks. If you have seen the Fantastitch before, you will notice that my edge looks a bit different because I didn't do the chevrons. The original has like a big section of chevrons at the end, and after the twisted rib section, I added a little bit of seed stitch and then I bound off. And I like it. I like it better this way. So this was my very, very first Stephen West shawl. I actually really still love it. I still love it. And it's, I have worn it a lot, and it's one of those, I remember that when I started knitting Stephen West patterns, something that I really learned from him was to not be a perfectionist, to embrace the mistakes that you make in your knitting, and to be a little bit more relaxed, to kind of try to enjoy it, to play around with color, be a little bit more bold, and it kind of made me a more confident knitter. So that's why I really appreciate his designs and in general his videos. And I remember so clearly, this was my first shawl. It's one of the first shawls that I made for myself. And in the beginning, when I started knitting, I was kind of hesitant to wear them outside of the house because I thought other people will kind of see it and think, oh, that looks handmade, and what is she wearing? But then I realized, I started to wear this to work, and I realized whenever I wore something handmade, some of my own shawls, it made me feel confident. It made me feel good about myself. And I think that's one of the things that comes with knitting. If you make something that you have made yourself and you can feel proud of it, it's just such a good feeling. And it gives you a different kind of confidence. So that's why this shawl will always hold a special place in my heart. I have worn this, I used to work at university. I used to teach classes at university, and I have often worn this during class when I was teaching. And I actually wore this when I defended my PhD. So I have a PhD. I used to be an academic. I'm not sure if I still am. But I defended my PhD in January of 2024. And it was quite cold. And I was wearing this. I was really, 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 really nervous. And I was wearing this kind of on the way there, and it made me feel good. But I was planning to take it off for the presentation because I had this kind of professional outfit under this shawl, and I felt that wearing a shawl would probably ruin the professional looking outfit. And I've completely forgot to take it off. And a friend of mine took pictures of my presentation and of my defense, and I realized looking at the pictures that I was actually wearing the shawl the whole time. So now this is kind of ingrained in this shawl, and that's why I will always keep it. And I don't wear it as much anymore, but I still really love it. Yeah, that's the story behind the Fantastitch. And maybe it looks so good. I really love it. And so maybe while we are in this kind of realm of stripy shawls, let's talk about my other version. But first, water. So this is similar, right? I kind of call this the sister, the Fantastitch, and this shawl, this is Quirky Quintet. In my head, they are sisters, obviously. And when I think the Quirky Quintet came out last year, and I just knew I want to knit that. But I really tried to, because I think it's quite obvious from the design. It has a very similar way of construction than to the Fantastitch. It's quite similar. So I thought, okay, you can knit the Quirky Quintet, but make sure to not make it too similar, otherwise you will end up with two almost identical shawls. And I don't know what happened, but I did exactly what I told myself not to do. But I really like the outcome. So this is actually probably in my top 3 of shawls. And it might also be one of the reasons why this one doesn't get worn as much anymore. Because this time around I didn't use mohair, and I just find it more comfortable. And I think this is all stash yarn, so I'm proud of that. I used, let's see, Life in the long grass again, quite a bit. So this one, the colorway is called, I don't know how to pronounce that, Reims? R-E-I-M-S-E. Must be an Irish word. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. Reims. I really like the colorway. It has this kind of greenish, coppery look to it. It's kind of moody. I really like it. Then this one, the kind of whitish cream color, is Walk Collection Pearl. And this was also part of one of the kits from the Yarn Along. It's this one. Sad little ball of leftover yarn. It's called Pearl, and I have used this quite a bit, so I don't have much left. It's really soft, but these are singles yarns, and I can tell that they don't hold up as well. Then there's this purpley sections with browns in it. That's Life in the Long Grass Cactus Moon Soil. It's one of my favorite colorways. And then there's the black is the Regia Premium Silk again. And then there's silvery, grayish silvery yarn is Fiber Fox, Yak, their Yak base, Yak fingering in the natural. So this is the undyed base, if I'm not mistaken. This section in particular, I think I modified. I don't remember what it was. I just remember that it was something I didn't want to do. So I modified and I made this tiny cable. I think it's like 2 stitches, just reversed. And they kind of disappear into stockinette. Also, again, there's supposed to be ridges of reverse stockinette throughout the pattern, and I switched it and did garter instead. So yeah. I wear this one quite a bit with a jacket in winter, or with my coat. Yeah, I like it. I think it's in my top 3. I really like it. Yeah. Then let's move on. So let's put this back up there. This one. So I think those two, the Quirky Quintet and this one, are kind of even. This one is the Trickling Triangle. Maybe I like the Quirky Quintet a little bit more because of the shape. I actually wear it a lot. I like it. I wear it a lot in spring. It has these eyelets, and it's a really good shawl for spring. I have this light denim jacket, and it really goes well together. And I usually wear it something like this. So the Trickling Triangle was also part of that Yarn Along that I bought a couple of years ago, and there were 3 patterns part of the Yarn Along, and this is the only one of the 3 that I actually made. And this is also with the yarn that came in with the pattern. So this is the official yarn. And I liked it so much when I got the box that there was somebody on Ravelry who didn't enjoy her yarn, and she offered to sell it, so I bought it. And then I had 2 of each. And it was kind of impulsive and I shouldn't have bought it because now I still have a whole skein. You know, it just rolled away. So now I have, you know, I still have the yarn from the second box that I bought. The only one that I already used up completely from these two sets, from these two yarn skeins, is the pearl colorway, the one that I just showed, this one. It was also part of this box, so it's also in this Trickling Triangle shawl, the lightest color. So you're kind of fading through different colorways. This is the pearl. These are all Wandering Flock, I think. Then this is the mermaid. And can you see how it's already pilling? It's a singles yarn and it's really soft, but it's just, it doesn't hold up super well. So it's really lovely to touch and to wear and to work with, but I'm not sure if I would buy it again. It already ripped a little bit here. So yeah, I shouldn't have bought the second box. Now I have it. And then there's the yellow one. I think the yellow one I still might find some use for. Maybe in that Jigshawl Puzzle. Man, that's a difficult name for me. Maybe I could use it in there because I want to make a really, really colorful version. This is a version that I'm only planning to wear at home, so it can be crazy. I want it to be really, really bright and colorful. It doesn't have to be like subdued color, elegant color for work or anything like that. No, it will be colors. So this could go in there. I like it. That was the yellow section in this shawl. So there's the thing about the Trickling Triangle. It's an eyelet design, but there's this smoking stitch along the edge. The yarn just keeps rolling away. There's this smoking edge. This type of design is called smoking. And then there was this long section of twisted rib. And what I really didn't like about it was twisting the purl stitches. I don't mind knitting through the back loop, but I really don't like purling through the back loop. Didn't enjoy that at all. So that's that one. Let's put it back. Okay, now I have the last two, and those are, I really like both of them. I couldn't pick a favorite, I think. So let's just start with this one. Vertices Unite. I love this. I have actually started a second one, but I gave it up. I wanted to make a black and gray version, and I just got bored. And I really, this is so huge. There's some of the sunny yellow that I just showed you before in there, and there's also some in here. And this is one of my favorite shawls. I really like these huge blankets, and I think I really like, it's all garter. It's enjoyable to knit. It's a modular knit, so you always knit one section and then you pick up along one edge and you knit the next section, and so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. I really enjoyed the process as well as the result. So this is the first, this one. This was the first section. I think I need the large version. There's also a smaller version. And I used I'm not sure if I also used that pearl in here, pearl colorway. Oh no, I used Life in the Long Grass parchment for the lightest color and also for the I-cord. And this very super colorful yarn, this one is Essence of Autumn, the colorway Firecracker, and it was also part of the yarn along, and I really like it. It's really colorful. It was so fun to knit with it because you never knew what color comes up next. And I think I still have some of it here. Let's see, the yellow, it was called Sunny Shores. It's the Wandering Flock, just to make sure that I'm saying the right name. And the Firecracker, that's all I have left. It was so fun to knit with. But again, it's a singles. All these yarns that I got in that yarn along were singles. And I can tell that it makes for really, drapey shawls, but they are starting to show a little bit of wear. So this greenish section is again Life in the Long Grass in the colorway Grove. It's a very rich mossy green. And then there's this small section here. It's also Life in the Long Grass. It's a different shade of green. You can almost not tell the difference. It's again this Reims, the one that I used in the Quirky Quintet. It's that color again. And the light color is actually a very, very, very soft pink, which is called Powder Puff. So this is the Vertices Unite, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy wearing it. Okay, we're almost there. Let's put this back again. Okay, so this is the last one. I really enjoy this one. Come on. It is the Marled Magic. It's really big, as usual. So the Marled Magic, this is actually the one that I love the most. I usually only wear this at home. It's really big and cozy. I'm not sure that yarns and the colors are necessarily the best for me. Especially those like warm peachy tones. I'm not sure, but I just enjoy wearing it so much. It's because you hold 2 strands all the time, so it's a DK weight. You can use scraps or whatever you want, so that I would say in the idea behind the pattern is similar to the Jigshawl Puzzle. I'm struggling with that. So you can use scraps, you can use partial skeins or new skeins or whatever you want, and you can use as many colors as you want. and you hold 2 strands throughout. So it makes for a little bit of a heavy shawl, and I really like it. I think that's the main reason why I enjoy wearing this shawl so much, is the weight. So I am this kind of person who, I am this kind of person who tends to overthink. And as I have said, I have previously worked as an academic, and I worked a lot at home to write my dissertation, and especially during the pandemic, and I would often work like this. I would often be like super focused and kind of, I'm tense. I'm often tense, and I get a lot of headaches because I'm always tense. And then if I put on a heavy shawl like this, it kind of helps, kind of forces me to, the weight kind of forces me to relax my shoulders a little bit and not be so tense all the time, and kind of, come on, just relax. And so yeah, that's probably why I like wearing this kind of a little bit heavier shawl, and I'm just bunching up in it. I think it's really cozy, and that's probably also the reason why I'm really, really, really wanting to cast on that other big heavy shawl. It's just kind of like a comfort blanket, but for my neck. Yeah, it makes me feel good. So yeah, that's why I want to knit one. And that's also why I really like wearing this one. So it's similar to the Vertices Unite in the sense that it's a modular shawl, so you knit one section, then you pick up stitches, you knit in a different direction for a different section. So this one was the first one, this mesh. And I couldn't tell you all the yarns that are in this because I used a lot of different scraps. I do know that I used this, which is, oh, I found the label, sorry. I found the label, the cuckoo yarns that I mentioned in the beginning, that are in this shawl. I found the label, so now you know. They are local to me. It's a Swiss dyer. But that's not what's in here. This is the kit that I bought from La Bien-Aimée when the GeoGradient MKAL was going on. So this is actually a MKAL kit, and I decided to knit it and use it for the Marled Magic. So this is the base, Cashmerino, 75, oh my god, 75% superwash merino, 15% cashmere, and 10% nylon. This is the color peach sweater, which I think is this one. I think this is the peach sweater. Then there's this one. I still have a lot of yarn left over, so I don't know yet what I want to do with it, but I want to use it. This is Dawn, I think. I got the colorways mixed up at the labels, so I'm not sure. I think this one is called Sansa, like the person from Game of Thrones. Sansa. And this one is called RGO, which stands for Real Good Orange. It's really bright. I might knit a hat with this yarn and give it to one of my kids to make sure, in winter that cars see my kids. Who knows? But then they might lose it in school. Okay, and then there's a bunch of other yarn in there as well, but as I said, I used a lot of different scraps, like random white yarn. I don't have anymore, or I think I used this. This is again Regia Premium Silk. I think I used some in here, or also for this border. And I also used some of this, which is Fiber Fox Granny's Cottage. I still have a lot of this. I used it for these brown stripes. And then there was some Suri, Lana Grossa Suri, that I used for the I-cord edging. I used it all up, I think, so the I-cord is like a little bit fluffy. Yeah. So these are all my Westknits shawls, and there will be another one coming soon. So first I will finish my GoGo Dynamo, and then I'm really itching to cast on the other one. I just think those kind of projects where you can use small amounts of different colors are just so satisfying. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to knitting it, to playing around with the colors, and to wearing it when it's cold in winter. And so yeah, I might not participate in the MKAL, but I will kind of join along in the excitement of the MKAL, and will probably knit the other shawl while enjoying the MKAL excitement. I usually read the forums on Ravelry in the beginning, and then at one point I get kind of overwhelmed because sometimes there's like hundreds of new messages when I log on, and it's just at some point it just gets like, it's just too much for me. I cannot spend all this time reading messages online. Yeah, but I'm looking forward still to the MKAL excitement. If he says it's similar to Vertices Unite or Marled Magic, I might join in. And if not, I have a pattern in mind that I will knit while I enjoy from the sidelines. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my video today. And next time I will talk more. It will be more again the regular episode talking about my whips, because I already have a couple of new cast-ons. I think that always happens around the change of a season. I just get ideas for the next season, so I cast them on. And yeah, I hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for watching, and see you again next time. Bye!